feel like I have to point out that I sound like a man. I was sick. I was sick, and Kendall was sick. Chloe never gets sick. Her immune system is like a rock. But we're unwell. Kendall, you actually sound a little bit hoarse too. I kind of know.
This is like the first day where I think I actually sound like normal. The other days I've like sounded like a man.
Yesterday, I could not speak at the beginning of the day. I was whispering like for 6 hours, and I would have to tell Noah to tell Shiloh what to do because he wasn't listening. Yeah. Anyway, and also if you were watching on YouTube, we all kind of match. And that was
yeah. It wasn't. Did y'all plan?
No, I didn't. But this is Kendall's sweater, and I put it on when I got here because I didn't like the shirt I was wearing. So anyway, yeah. So we all kind of match. So there's that. But anyway, what the episode is going to be about today is we're kind of starting a little series, which is like so fun. I don't know. It sounds fun to say because I've never said that before, I guess. But
There's a bug in my drink. Hold on.
Oh, okay. Pause. That's weird. Oh, can we turn off the AC too? I can hear. I heard it with the headphones. I'm sorry. Just brief pause. Dang, I can't believe you jumped out.
I don't. It was in my drink. It's floating around, crawling around there.
I would have just tapped it with my finger and gotten it out.
That's crazy.
No, it's germs are in your cup.
Dang. I guess that's kind of what Yahweh says to do too.
That's true.
It's like unclean. Kendall's better than us.
If it's dead. Oh, but I guess the bug is unclean.
Yeah. What do you... Only live. Yeah, I see where you're going. All right. Ooh, all right. That was a big bummer. You can have some of my poppy. I've never vomited.
It's okay.
Okay. Anyway, back to it. So we're doing a series, and it's gonna be we're gonna look at the 10 Commandments, and we're not necessarily gonna do that in order. We'll probably do some, have some guests. I don't know what we'll do in between. We always have a plan. We never have a plan. So anyway, we're gonna do the 10 Commandments, and today we're doing the first one. What we did, I feel like I have to preface that really everybody calls them the 10 Commandments, but it's never called the 10 Commandments in Scripture, and there's really 11 commandments. So we're gonna talk about
10 words, right? In the Hebrew, isn't that what it says?
Oh, I don't know. Okay, maybe it is referenced as 10. I don't know. Well, we're gonna consider 11 in this series. So
well, I'm just saying it's words rather, in the Hebrew it says words rather than commands.
Okay, got it.
But,
well, anyway, so the specific no, that's good. The specific verse that we we decided last week, ladies, split, and we're gonna look at Exodus 20. Chapter 20, verse 2. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. So I'll read it. I'll just read the verse and then we'll kind of go from there. And I was making notes and stuff, and the Bible translation that I was using was the scriptures. So it just sounds a little bit different because it uses some Hebrew terms, but it's all the same. So it says, I am Yahuwah, your Elohim, or the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, or Egypt, out of the house of slavery. And that's it. There's so much to it, though. There's so much. Yeah.
Well, I put, what exactly is a commandment? And I just put it's in the Hebrew. I'm now you're making me second guess myself, but I'm pretty sure it says the 10 words. It's
that's not the first time I've heard that.
Something.
So, yeah. Oh, Devarim.
Well, debar is words.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But I just put that it's some things that Yahweh has put in place for us to best love Him, is what the commandments are for, and that we can love ourselves and others, right?
Yeah. Like you just said, what Jesus said. Yeah. So that was good. Yeah.
They teach us how to live a life of faithfulness or a life of worship. I feel like a lot of people when they hear worship, they just think sing songs, and it's so much that's a form.
Yeah.
But there's so much more.
Yeah. That's really good.
And then, well, I'll wait on that actually.
All right. You sure?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I put that's really good. I kind of said some of that, but I'm afraid if I go out of order that I'm going to miss something. So the first thing that I like wrote out the verse, and then the first thing that I really recognized in the verse was that it ends with out of the house of slavery. I am Yahuwah your Elohim, he brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. So I was like, I recognized in that like, you know, in this verse specifically, he's talking to his people. He brought them out of Egypt, which is representative of the house of slavery. And I was like, oh, that's just like Jesus. You know what I mean? Like Yahweh sent Jesus to die so that we could have freedom from our house of slavery, which is sin. You know, so I just wrote down that it's really just a representation of our freedom from sin. And I always see this theme, like, I mean, it's not even a theme, it's just reality. But I think Michael Trinkman, who's like a teacher that we have gone to before, he said it and it's always stuck with me, which is that everything physical is a shadow of the spiritual, not the other way around. So like the spiritual is not a shadow, like the spiritual realm, whatever you want to call it, is like, which I guess, you know, in my mind, like that's where Yahweh exists, you know, and that's kind of where that is actually reality. But we as people in our everyday lives, I think, get stuck thinking that reality is the physical, because that's where we are right now. You know, like we're within our physical bodies, we're in our fleshly bodies and in a physical world, but this is actually just a shadow, like, of the reality that is like Yahweh, our God, and like where he really, like, I guess, you know, he dwells in us. But anyway, I don't know, I just, you know, so anyway, this is just like another, even though obviously this was very real to the Israelites, they actually were, you know, I mean, experiencing like leaving Egypt, but it was literally all of that happened because of this spiritual, like, you know, telling. So anyway, yeah.
I also thought, like, because I read kind of like before they get the actual Ten Commandments, and it's funny because Yahuwah actually invited like everybody up to go like hear the Ten Commandments, and they were like scared. They're like, no, we don't want to.
Yeah.
And then like they sent Moses, which I'm like, to me in my mind right now, I'm like, you had the chance to like witness that. Like, why would you not go and like, you know, see that? But
Yeah.
you know, they've also had been through a lot.
I was gonna say, it's easy to read that and be like, you're so stupid. Like, what are you doing? But
yeah,
I mean,
when you're
they've
there, it's
been in
different.
Egypt for a long time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was
Well,
all they knew.
And it makes me think of like when I feel like maybe like, you know, I don't know, ashamed, not worthy
Yeah.
of being at his feet, you know, and that's like a recurring, we don't gotta get too deep about it, but that's a recurring theme.
Well, I just
for
thought
me,
it was so
you
like
know?
sweet that he like invited everyone to come, like
Yeah.
like though he was like speaking through Moses.
He deemed them worthy, but they
Yeah,
rejected what he was telling them. Yeah.
I was like that's so sweet of him to give them the opportunity, you know, to go like see
It's
all
also
that.
like sad thinking about him because he obviously wants that and wants to
Yeah.
dwell with them, and then
But like how
over
many
and over.
times like do we actually do that where he's like, I don't care like what you've done, like come and know me, and we're like, no, like we don't deserve that, you know, and then like we run away because we feel ashamed of what we've done, you know, but he like invites us constantly, like, you know, come, you don't have to fix yourself, you don't have to be all perfect before we have a relationship, like come to me now, you
So
know.
good, Kendall.
So
Oh, I love
don't know.
that.
I just
got goosebumps.
I just
in my
like
eyes.
that he like invited them all. I was like, oh, that's so nice.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that. That's so good. Like, so like the second half was like out of the house of slavery, but I underlined, I am Yahuwah your Elohim, because I'm like, how many times do we, I mean, I feel like that's said over and over and over again in scripture. And I Googled it because I was like, I don't have time to read the whole Bible for this podcast all at once and count it. But it said something like it's said 150 times or something. But
Well, and I
this
said
is-
that brought you out of the house of slavery, or out of the land of Egypt. That's also said like a million times.
Yeah.
I wrote that down too.
Yeah, that's good. I didn't even think about that part. I think Exodus 20, I think it's the first time it's said, I am Yahuwah your Elohim. I think that's the first time that he says that to the people, like when he like, gathers them. So I was like, oh, that's cool. Like just hearing it for the first time is always kind of neat. And And then I said, like it's repeated over and over in the Bible, but like specifically in Leviticus, like, you know, when he's like giving all the instruction to the people, he like gives an instruction and then followed it up with, I'm here, your Elohim. And I was like thinking that I think the reason that he does that is because it's like a reminder that by following those commands, they would be set apart. It's like a claim. I'm giving this command. I'm claiming that I am your God. You know, like I'm
And
your
that they're
God.
like accepting that he's Lord of their life.
Yeah.
Too, you know?
Yeah. So like submitting. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what I wrote, Chloe. I said claiming that they're his people, his kingdom, that those are his ways, and you should follow them. You know, it's good.
I also put just thinking. I like did my notes so out of order, so I'm like trying to
Whatevs.
find them. But
What do you? I don't even know what you mean by that.
well, like I would write something and I'd be like think about it, and then I'd be like, oh, this goes with that.
I
don't
did that
know.
here too. I had to cross it out and then
I
come
tried
back
to
it.
like draw arrows, but it
Yeah.
doesn't always work. But I put thinking about you talking about like a physical and spiritual. This is like following what he asked us to do is outwardly being obedient, and then like a physical representation of your faith. Like,
Oof.
and then
That's exactly where I went too. That's cool. Yeah.
and we don't necessarily do these things to earn our salvation, but we're just obedient because he also says, if you love me, you'll keep my commands. So that's why we do them, is because we love him. It's not like we're trying to earn something.
That's Chloe, I said, it's just crazy because I said, I am like, you know, he says the first thing said is, I'm here, your Elohim, or, you know, the Lord your God. And I said, this is a claim. It's literally, he's like commanding them that he is their God. So like nothing can change that statement. It had like, he spoke those words. I am your God. Like he tells his people, his kingdom, I am your God. So like, then I said, therefore following the commands or the instructions that were given doesn't change, like whether we do or we don't, doesn't actually change our status of being in his kingdom. Like what, you know, once you accept the gift of salvation, let's use that term, like it doesn't change that he's actually everyone's God, whether they acknowledge it or not. So I put, so if it doesn't change, like, you know, whether we follow his commandments, if it doesn't change anything, then why do we follow them? Like, why does he give us the commands?
Yeah.
And I said, because we love him, because we seek to obey him, to respect him as our father. It's a choice. Like we get to
just
choose.
like you would your own parents.
Yes. Yeah. I thought that was really good. And then just like you said, I said, by physically like acting out, by following the commandments, you're acknowledging that he is our father. That's so good. I like said the exact same thing. I love
That's
it.
so funny that y'all have it written down the
I
same
love
thing.
it. Our hearts were just well, Yahweh did that. Yeah, that's cool.
I also having a baby, you're just like busy all the time, so my quiet times look a lot different. So
What do they
if
look
I
like?
don't have any like time to sit down and do something like this, I'll like read Psalms before I go to bed.
Oh yeah.
And I was reading Psalm 37, and one of the things said like befriend faithfulness, and it like made me think of following the commands. That
That's
was
so good. Because I feel like, you know, you see in scripture, like, what is faith? It's action, you know? So, like, by befriending faithfulness. That's so good. I love that. Noah had to watch all the children just so I could do this for 20 minutes. I was like it never would have happened. Unless I, like, stayed up late to do it. But I'm not very good at that. I pretty much want to go to bed ASAP. Yeah. Anyway. I also put, I kind of went into a little spiel about obedience too, because I feel like we're talking about the commandments, you know, so I feel like it's kind of like, you know, it goes hand in hand, but I said, the Father loves for us to be obedient. And obedience isn't just a feeling, but an action. And like, it makes me think today, I was like with Shiloh, when you have kids, they teach you so much, because I had Shiloh, and this is, I don't know, hopefully this is like okay to say on here, but a new thing that I started to do, it sounds so sad, but it's good for him, is one of the things, a consequence of an action that he does is to put his nose in the corner
I heard him say that the other day, and I was like, what?
So
That's funny.
and the reason that I opted to do that instead of putting him in his crib and just like isolating him in his crib for timeout, it's a form of timeout. Instead of putting him in his crib, well, he can't really. He's got to work to get out of the crib. He actually can't get out on his own now. But before, I put him in his crib, and I'm like, you're in timeout, you know, for whatever it would have been. Well, now he has to stand. Like, not only does he have a consequence, but he has to obey the consequence. Does that make sense? So he has to actually put himself in the corner and put his nose in the corner, and he
No
has.
gentle parenting here.
This probably counts as. I don't know. I don't know
I
if
mean,
it does.
I think that I feel like that would be gentle parenting.
Yeah.
Well,
I wouldn't say that. I don't necessarily. I don't really claim gentle parenting.
I feel
But
like
I
you
feel
have
like-
to do. Each kid is different.
Yeah.
You gotta do what works
Yeah.
for that kid.
But I
when
definitely.
I think of gentle parenting, I think of people being like, it's okay, let's not do
Yeah.
that. I don't know, you know, like
we're
to
gonna
everything.
tick off all the gentle parents. Yes. I don't really. I think it's because what I see sometimes. I don't even really know the term. I know that it's about obedience.
Yeah.
You know, like it's biblical. Whatever we do, I'm trying to create the same idea that Yahweh gives us, which is when I ask you to do something, it's not because I like am telling you what to do all the time because I enjoy it. It's because there's going to be fruit if you do obey the things that I give you. So anyway, the nose in the corner thing, he has to actually obey the consequence as well. So he has to keep his little head in the corner, you know? So anyway, and he does with coercion, you know, he does. So I kind of got off track there, but it's not just a feeling, it's an action. You know, you have to do
You're
something.
applying the scriptures to your life,
Yeah.
which is exactly what we're talking about.
I kind of like went on a thing here because I said I like looked up obedience, like where does obedience occur, you know, like in the word. And the first thing, I feel like Deuteronomy 28 is like classic because it's like if you obey, you like Yahweh tells his people, if you obey, you will get blessings.
Yeah.
If you disobey, you will have curses. Like he, plain and simple, like lays it out. And I think that that's like when you enter his kingdom, this is his expectation for you, you know, and it's very clear. And then I wrote down like a ton. Well, I say a ton, like 3, 4, 5, 3, 4. I'm gonna read them.
Yeah.
Okay. I did James 1:22. It says, "Become doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving yourselves." And I was like, oh, that's so good because it's like don't just like. I don't know. Sometimes people say have faith, but it's like a feeling, and it is a feeling, but it's not just a feeling, it's an action. And then Romans 2:13, "For not the hearers of the Torah are righteous in the sight of Elohim, but the doers of the Torah shall be declared right." And I was like, oh, that's so good. Like, you know, because I like I didn't even, you know, when you like have like something in your head and you're like, oh, like where else does this occur? And it's like the whole Bible, you know. And then Hebrews 5:7-9, this is talking about Jesus, who in the days of his flesh, when he had offered up prayers and petitions with strong crying and tears to him who was able to save him from death, and was heard because of his reverent fear, though being a son, he learned obedience by what he suffered. And I was like, oh man. And then, and having been perfected, he became the causer of everlasting deliverance to all those obeying him. So I was like, oh my gosh, like it was almost like Jesus, because he obeyed, learned how to obey. You know what I mean? Like because he suffered, he learned how to obey. And then like he's our perfect example, so we're to obey Jesus. I was like, that's so good. So then I was like, hold on, I'm almost done, I promise. I was like, Jesus is our perfect example. And so I just was like, you know, there's just not enough time to like get into everything that Jesus said, but John 14:15, "If you love me, you shall guard my commands." And like Jesus's commands are Yahweh's commands,
I
which
love
is kind
the
of
translations
the
that
series.
say to guard it.
Oh, I know. I love guard. And it's funny because I actually was going to go into guard because I feel like, what does guard really mean?
Yeah.
Like, it means obey, like protect, don't make light of them, like keep them close. Like, there's just so many different, you know, I like almost wonder what, if I looked in Blue Letter Bible, what guard would say. And then Luke 16:17, "And it is easier for the heaven and the earth to pass away than for one tittle of the Torah to fall." So I was like, oh, it's just so beautiful, like that it all just, like, we're meant to obey, and like he wants us to obey, and our example was Jesus, and he obeyed. Like, and what is Jesus? Like, Yeshua is the word embodied, which are the commands that we talk about. It's just like, like one big circle. It's just so beautiful. Like, I don't know. It's just so neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Well, and a lot of people see, like, it's just a bunch of rules.
Yeah.
But like you said with Shiloh, like, you do them because you love him.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
And then no rules would be absolute chaos. And Yahweh is a God of order,
Yeah.
not of chaos.
Yeah.
So, like, why would we want complete freedom? You know what I'm saying? Like, you...
Yeah. Well, and
Just
we
like
have
kids,
freedom.
you need some kind of structure.
We have freedom from sin.
Yeah.
Not like
do
freedom
whatever you
from
want.
Yahweh. Like being with Yahweh means following, like, these 10 commandments that he gave us. And so I don't know. I love it. It's so
Well,
good.
and like all the stuff he gives us, like it's like a parent. When you love your kid and you want to protect them, you give them rules or laws that are going to keep them safe, which is what he does throughout, not just in the 10 Commandments, the entire Bible. It's,
Yeah.
okay, I'm telling you, do this, so this, and this won't happen, so it's just like...
And there's lots of times in scripture they don't do it, and you see what happens when they don't.
So
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
these aren't just like a list of laws that suck all the fun out of your life, you know? Like,
Well, and I think
yeah.
thinking about
they
like
add freedom to your life,
Yeah.
Yeah. It's freedom.
the 10
Following these commands really
Yeah.
does give you freedom. It's beautiful.
the 10 words. I think I heard that from Michael Trinkman,
Really.
and he talked about like it's when people think about it as a list of rules or laws, like that sounds like ugh. Which I mean I don't think that, but there's
It
lots of
can
people
be
that
perceived
do,
that way. Yeah.
and really it's just like this is my advice on how you should live your life so that you can be blessed
Yeah.
and make good choices.
Yeah. Well, and because Yahweh, like, he is good. Like, he is literally like the
Yeah, if it
definition
comes
of
from him, it's going to be good.
good. So like there can't be anything not good about like what he's given us to follow. I think really I was thinking to myself, like, back to the basics, like when I was like studying this, because it really is basics. And I think a lot of people, when you like love Yahweh, I'm thinking of everyone and my mom, like my dad. I don't know. Just like when I think of people that love Yahweh, your heart can be turned, you know what I mean, to follow these commands, even when you may not like be actively like being like, I need to follow the 3rd commandment today. Or, you know what I mean? Like your heart is like swayed to do these things. However, I also think like there is something to like knowing them and guarding them, like it says, and like making an intentional effort to do them, because
Or even
just
remember
like
them like throughout the day.
yes, like because like just like it says, it says that Hebrews verse I read, he learned obedience by what he suffered, which not that it's suffering to follow the commandments, but like saying he learned obedience by obeying, you know what I mean, instead of rebelling. So it's almost like by making it an intentional, like if you don't intentionally seek to follow these, like you will fall short. I mean, we'll fall short regardless, but it's it's good. So I actually am like so pumped that we're gonna look at all the rest of them, because I feel like the reason that he like gave them these were like, I mean, these were the original commandments, the first commandments that he gave his people to be set apart, to be holy, like the people within his kingdom. Like that's us, it's these. So it's like this is what he intended.
Yeah. He wanted to dwell with them.
This, yes, like on the mountain, and then give them these rules. And it's not because they didn't go up to the mountain that they got these. Like they were gonna get these regardless, So, yeah, so good. I love it. I'm gonna start at 19, and then I'll say where I end. Exodus 19. In the 3rd new moon, after the children of Israel had come out of the land of Egypt, on this day when they came to the wilderness of Sinai, for they set out from Rephidim, I have different terms in here, and had come to the wilderness of Sinai and camped in the wilderness. So Israel camped there before the mountain. And Moshe went up to Elohim, and Yahuwah called to him from the mountain, saying, This is what you are to say to the house of Jacob and declare to the children of Israel. You have seen what I did to the Egyptians, and how I bore you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. And now if you diligently obey my voice and shall guard my covenant, then you shall be my treasured possession above all the peoples, for all the earth is mine. And you shall be Sorry, I just like have never really seen that before. For all the earth is mine. And you shall be to me a reign of priests and a set apart nation. Those are the words which you are to speak to the children of Israel. And Moshe came and called for the elders of the people, and set before them all these words which Yahuwah commanded him. And all the people answered together and said, all that Yahweh has spoken we shall do. So Moses brought back the words of the people to Yahweh. And Yahweh said to Moses, see, I am coming to you in the thick cloud, so that the people hear. Oh my gosh, someone else take over. My voice is cracking.
So that the people may hear when I speak with you, and also may believe you forever. When Moses told the words of the people to... Whoa. Start over. Cut that out, Noah. When Moses told the words of the people to Yahuwah, Yahuwah said to Moses, go to the people and consecrate them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their garments and be ready for the third day. For on the third day Yahuwah will come down on Mount Sinai in the sight of all the people, and you shall set limits for the people all around, saying, take care not to go up into the mountain or touch the edge of it. Whoever touches the mountain shall be put to death. No hand shall touch him, but he shall be stoned or shot. Does y'all say shot?
With an arrow.
Oh. I was just thinking a gun. I'm like, what?
They were advanced.
Whether beast or man, he shall not live. When the trumpet sounds a long blast, they shall come up to the mountain. So Moses went down from the mountain to the people and consecrated the people. And they washed their garments, and he said to the people, be ready for the third day. Do not go near a woman. On the morning of the third day, there were thunders and lightnings, and a thick cloud on the mountain, and a very thick oh my gosh. I'm like, I need my glasses.
You need glasses?
Yes, I do.
Oh yeah, I forgot you were glasses.
I'm like, I'm not.
You want to read mine? Mine is massive.
It's okay.
Okay. I have like the.
Okay, a thick cloud on the mountain and a very loud trumpet blast, so that all the people in the camp trembled. Then Moses brought out the people of the camp to meet Elohim, and they took their stand at the foot of the mountain. Now Mount Sinai was wrapped in smoke because Yahuwah had descended on it in fire, which every time I read this, I'm like, don't you know that was just so insane? Like, dude, I have a picture in my head, but it was probably like, not even, I don't know.
Yeah. Like, I feel like in movies, that's bad.
Yeah.
But like, obviously, that's like not bad.
Yeah.
It's just his presence. I mean, it's kind of like puts into perspective what people feel perhaps when they really were standing in front of him. Like, that's the intensity of what they were
it makes
feeling.
Me think of, like,
it's the physical represents the spiritual. That's how massive his presence is. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean.
No, you're good. The smoke of it went up like the smoke of a kiln, and the whole mountain trembled greatly. That's also like, can you imagine a mountain like trembling? Like what does that even mean? An
earthquake is occurring. There's fire, there's smoke. The people are just standing looking up at it. That's crazy.
And as the sound of the trumpet grew louder and louder, Moses spoke, and Yahuwah answered him in the thunder and thunder and lightning.
Thunder and lightning and trumpets. Like,
which is also like they were probably scared, you know, which is why we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Yahuwah came down on Mount Sinai to the top of the mountain, and Yahuwah called Moses to the top of the mountain, and Moses went up. And Yahuwah said to Moses, go down and warn the people, lest they break through to Yahuwah to look, and many of them perish. Also let the priests who come near to Yahuwah consecrate themselves, lest the Lord break out against them. And Moses said to Yahuwah, the people cannot come up to Mount Sinai, for yourself warned us, saying, set limits around the mountain and consecrate it. And Yahuwah said to him, go down and come up, bringing Aaron with you. Do not let the priests of the people break through to come up to Yahuwah, lest he break out against them. So Moses went down to the people and told them.
Take it away, Kendall.
In 20?
Yeah, 21.
All right.
Or 21.
I was like, I don't have my glasses either, and I've been sick, so we'll see how this goes.
I just had to lift mine up to my... I refuse to wear my glasses. So.
They look so cute. Yeah, both of y'all don't wear your glasses. Y'all are so crazy.
And God spoke all these words, saying, I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make yourself a carved image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that it is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down to them or serve them, for I am the Lord your God. I am the jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers on the children to the third and the fourth generations of those who hate me, but showing steadfast love to thousands of those who love me and keep my commandments. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless who takes his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but in the seventh day is a Sabbath to your Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work, you or your son or your daughter, your male servant or your female servant, or your livestock, or the sojourner
Mm-hmm.
who is within your gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth and the sea, and all that is in them, and rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath and made it holy. Honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long in that land, and the Lord your God is giving you. You shall not murder, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not steal, you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor, you shall not cover your neighbor's house, you shall not covet your neighbor's house, you shall not covet your neighbor's wife, or his male servant, or his female servant, or his ox, or his donkey, or anything that is your neighbor's. Now, when all the people saw the thunder and the flashes of lightning and the sound of the trumpet and the mountain smoking, the people were afraid and trembled, and they stood far off and said to Moses, You speak to us, and we listen, but do not let God speak to us, lest we die. Moses said to the people, Do not fear, for God has come to test you, that the fear of him may be before you, that you may not sin. The people stood far off while Moses drew near to the thick darkness where God was.
I also always wonder, like, whenever, like, as a whole, they make a decision to, like, not go up or whatever.
Right.
I'm always like, were there some people that, like, wanted to, but then were just kind of influenced by the majority?
The leadership.
You know what I'm
in
saying?
place. Well,
I always wonder that.
It probably, I don't want to say it doesn't matter that they wanted to. I think that mosquito's getting me.
I know, I've got bites all over my legs.
Bites on my forehead. That one, it feasted on us. Do you see it too?
Yeah.
Okay, I just
Alright, I have a question. We can get this out. But okay, so I was reading the Bible Project, and that's where I heard that, like, God invited them. But I was reading, I was like, it doesn't sound like God invited them.
He did. He says,
Like, Moses went up first and then was like, come get the people.
Gotcha.
Right?
I was like,
Isn't that what we just read? Okay.
yeah.
what?
It says,
Okay, we can get that
Yeah,
out.
yeah, no,
It said that.
they're invited.
yeah,
I was
it
like,
said-
I don't want to say anything that's not true. So I was like, if that's not true, we need to cut it out.
No, that was good. No, I knew that he did because, like, we've talked about that a lot, about how, like, the people were invited, but they like rejected him. And Michael Treatment has a study about that too. And he also says that thunder is kind of representative.
Yeah, well, it makes me think of that verse in Genesis when it's like he came to them and it says like the cool of the day or something, and that's like a terrible translation because I'm like, it was probably thunder and lightning and like whenever he comes to Adam and Eve after they eat the fruit, and it's like he came in the cool of the day.
Yeah.
And they were probably hiding. Well, they were ashamed and like they were probably scared because they're like, what's happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
'Cause-
I think, like, what does he say? Because Kendall, you said they were invited, but they wanted Moses, and it says, and Moses replies to the people, do not fear, for Elohim has come to prove you, and in order that his fear be before you, so that you do not sin. But I feel like they still were like, it's okay. I don't know.
Do you want to, like, read on, or do you want to, like...
That's what I was just trying to
think
see what
that
else it
was-
said.
I thought, oh no, we totally can. That's why I would have stopped though.
Okay. I can keep reading if you want to. It's up to you.
Yeah, I think that was really good.
I also this is just random because me and Laramie were talking about this morning, kind of off topic, but there's this band that we really like, and we were listening to this song this morning, and it said like, my love is not the jealous type, like talking about y'all, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't listen to this song anymore.
Yeah.
But I'm like, that's like not true.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just weird how
Because
they put
Yahweh's
things like that
character
in.
actually does desire for
us
us
to be
to
about him.
only have
Only him.
one
Yeah.
God, one Elohim,
Yeah.
which is him. That's, in fact, I feel like everything we just read
Yeah.
pretty much encompasses that. Yeah.
But we were talking about it this morning. I was just like
Mhm.
disappointed.
That's weird. They wrote a song where they said that about Yahweh.
What song is that? Because I know what song you're talking about.
Banks.
Huh?
Banks need to breathe.
Call him out.
Oh, well, we can cut that out. But
I was
Oh,
like,
you
I
just
feel like there's
added it.
another
Yeah.
song where it's like,
I gotta eat
it's like kind of like a slower song. And it's
It starts
like,
out slow.
not the jealous.
I'm
I
like,
don't know.
let me find it.
You know my love is not the jealous type.
And I love this song, so I'm so sad.
I was like, but there's another song, and I think it's by like a newer artist, and it talks about how he's not jealous.
Laramie just sent me a video.
He calls himself jealous in scripture.
Yeah, we just read it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
But
a
it's weird
jealous God.
because now,
Wait,
like,
we did? Where?
Yeah, in 25.
What? Where?
25.
25.
Yeah, so 20 verse 5, sorry.
Are you who your Elohim am a jealous? Oh, yeah, that's weird.
And like maybe they
Maybe
I
they
don't
mean.
know.
I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they mean
I know I love them.
that he always loves every person. Like Yahweh can be jealous, but we cannot be. We can't be jealous that he loves
But right
Chloe as
before
much
that
as
he
he
said
loves
like
Megan.
maybe it's
something
just
about
like
ruling the day.
the
and-
context. I don't know.
That is weird. I don't know.
Because
Anyway.
like I wouldn't use the word jealous to describe him. Like when I'm thinking of like words to describe y'all, I'm not like, oh yeah, he's jealous.
That's
You
funny
know?
because I do think that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes,
I was
because
saying
he
me too.
like does it
I
in
was like,
20.
you know,
Only because
Right.
it says it a couple
Only because it
Yeah,
says
yeah,
like, I
but,
think to
like-
myself like he is a jealous Yahweh, but
I
but
think
that
of like
word
he is
has
just,
been
but I don't think he is jealous.
Well, those are two.
Well, I'm just like when I think like just is a word that I would always use to describe, but
Mm-hmm.
I've never thought about using the word like jealous, even though it says it.
Yeah.
I've like never.
it
Like,
doesn't. It's not necessarily to come to mind. Maybe it literally could just be that they have not read Exodus 25. Like I mean, really, because I do think of that because I think because in my mind, I think we just the word jealous like
It kind of has
just
a
has a
negative
different-
connotation.
it
to-
does. It
and
does.
it's not.
But it's not a bad
Not- yeah,
quality.
no.
I mean, like, I kind of want Noah to be jealous, generally. But, like, when it comes to me, you know? So, yeah, I mean, it does. It's really
And
not
we're
a-
supposed to mimic.
But, I mean,
him.
should it seed into, like, sin? Like, no.
Or like,
You know?
what's the word I'm looking for? Like, shouldn't like take over, I guess.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Well, Yahweh
like, it
is
shouldn't
perfect, but we are
obsess.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
so.
he gives us all those
Yeah.
character traits.
Yeah.
Right? And he shows us how to do them perfectly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just not
in
good
the
at
commands.
it.
It is read. That's good. Yeah, no, that's good. I love it. Man, I feel like this was kind of short. I don't have much else to say.
Weren't we gonna talk about how we read our Bible?
Oh, yeah. I did not write any of that down. That's okay. I can answer
I was
that
about to
easily.
say,
I was like, you need to talk about how you do it.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Kendall, how do you read your Bible? You don't want to start with you?
No, we can.
Okay, yeah.
I just thought something we just won't run into it. But typically, like if I'm not like doing like an action, well, typically, okay, I try and go like around like events that are like happening right now. Like when we were doing Passover, I read like the Passover story in the Old Testament and the New Testament, like the story of his like death and resurrection and all that, like together, just to kind of get the whole thing.
I love it. Like Isaiah 53, you mean? Or like what?
No, I read
I'm sorry, I like have to know.
No, I'm like trying to think. I can't remember where I was reading the
That's
Old
okay.
Testament, but in the New Testament, I was like reading John.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like that whole story. But I felt like that was really good, just so you're in that time.
Yeah.
And then, so if there's not like something going on, then I just like pick a book of the Bible, and typically like for Proverbs is a good example. That's what me and Micah did not too long ago, is we just like read a chapter a day together, you know, and then we've done that like periodically. Sometimes he'll do it by himself, sometimes we do it together, and then but right now I'm gonna start the chronological thing. I was like, this is my second week saying that I'm going to do it, so I'm going.
Oh yeah, we were supposed to ask her
start
about it today, but you were
I was sick. That's my excuse, whether it's a good excuse or
No,
not.
I want you. So let me ask you. When you say you want to do the chronological, are you going to use the app to tell you what chronological is?
One of my friends in high school, she did it, and so she sent me her plan.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just
cool.
gonna follow the one she sent me.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's like a PDF or something.
It just like has it in order. It's not really a PDF.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like, oh, like read this one. It's like in a year. Probably won't get it done in a year.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna kind
If
of
a
like
year's
work
not your
through
goal,
it
then, yeah.
however I want to, you know.
Yeah.
So
I also feel like sometimes when you put a time constraint on things, you don't like
because I
look
want to
into it
get
as
like
deep.
Agreed.
the
You know what
full
I'm saying?
depth of it. That's why I didn't start it when I was sick, because I was like, I'm not gonna put the time and energy I want to into it, because I'm like, I really want to like understand, and I'm never gonna fully understand and know the Bible perfectly, but I do want to get like, if my goal is to understand it better, then I want to put in the effort to do that. You know, I don't want to do like
go a little
halfway.
bit deeper
Yeah.
than just knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I also feel like when I'm spending time with the Lord, do I always like read? No, but a lot of times it's like I pray and I just like talk to him, you know?
Yeah.
And a lot of it's just like I have learned over the years, and this kind of like changed my relationship with him, is just like sitting, like after you're done praying, just like sit and like let him talk to you, you know? And sometimes I feel it very like for sure, you know? And the other times I'm like, well, I'm not really sure if I'm getting anything, you know? But, you
That's
know,
so sweet, Kendall. I never do that.
I just feel like in high school, like that was a big thing that our youth minister at the time was like, you can't just be talking to God all the time. Like, you need to sit in his presence and let him talk to you. And when I started doing that, like, I started getting like so many like answers, because I'm very much the person I would always tell God, I was like, I need like you to say yes or no,
Yeah.
you know, and I need
Yeah.
you to make it extremely clear.
Yeah. But
And-
when you ask him, does he not answer?
Literally,
yeah.
I was like praying one night. I remember that because it was like the first time that I like heard like him talking to me, and I was like, okay, like I just need like a yes or no. I need you to make it extremely clear. And it was just like no, like no, like over and over. I was like, okay,
Got it.
got it. And
Thank you.
That's
know,
so beautiful.
so it's like I just think that that's beneficial for other people. If you're not already doing that, just to try it and see how it works for you.
That's
But
so cool.
yeah, that's how I do things.
I love that. I didn't know. This is something I didn't know about you. That was cool. That was neat.
Yeah.
You want me to go next?
Oh, yeah, it doesn't matter.
Well,
Wait,
mine.
can I go?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just thought that this might be better because, Kendall, my Bible reading is like the complete opposite of yours.
Really?
But it's not. I love your method.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sorry, just as Chloe gave me the go back. But it's because I was like, oh, it'll be good to hear okay, so I now I did set, I never really have set a plan before, like opted into a plan. But this year I did, January 1st. I'm behind right now. But but I was like, oh, this is, like the New Year's coming. Like I'm going to pick one. I'm just going to stick with it. And I am. I'm behind, but I am with it. So my thing this year was I want to read through the entire Bible in the order that the books are, which is actually funny because in the scripture, in this translation, the books are in a different order than in, like, say the NIV or something. It doesn't matter. Anyway, so I'm reading them in, the order that they were arranged in when they were placed into the Bible. And right now I'm in, I think Nehemiah. I think I'm still in Nehemiah. But it's funny because you were like, I don't want to put a time constraint on it because I want to go a little bit deeper. And this year I said the opposite. I was like, I don't have time to go deep. I just went knowledge.
Yeah.
Like this year I was literally just seeking, like, I don't want to say the bare minimum, but like I really was like, I craved for like quantity.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, I do think there's a time for quality and there's a time for quantity. And like this year I was really going for like, I want to read the entire Bible this year. I want to read the whole Bible this year. Because I think there's also definitely something to like reading it. I don't want to say close together because January and December are 12 months apart, but like reading it consistently and you know what I mean? Like getting that like full picture, like all the way through. So that's what I'm doing right now. And I kind of have like this side thing going on. So like anyway, I'm using the app. I picked it like a plan on the app and it does it like in order. So I log in on the app and I get to go check every time I read a chapter. But a lot of the time I read it on my phone, but I also really like reading it. My throat is really hurting from all this talking. It's just so exhausting. No, I'm just kidding.
This just brought up a random memory, but I remember in college I had like I like went on Canva and I made all these like, I put a chapter for each book and it took forever, by the way, because I had like a million tiny squares on there and there was probably a faster way to do it, but I didn't know.
Probably could have bought it for 99 cents on
yeah,
Etsy.
probably. But I like remember going through and like coloring all of them. That just made me think of that.
So fun. I remember you having that. Actually, I do. I remember that because I was like, that is so diligent. But it's how fun is it to? Like,
it was so fun. Oh my gosh! Especially if I'd like read more than one. I was like,
That was like your motivation. That's good.
It's in this plan. It's like anywhere from like 1 to like 4 chapters a day. It just kind of like depends. But I like it. So, but it's good for me because I think there's still definitely. I don't know if I've read every single word. To be 100% honest, like I really don't know if I've ever read every single word. And there's some scripture where I've been like the Gospels, real deep. You know, I think a lot of what I haven't read is probably like, I actually don't even know. But anyway, so I'm really pumped about it. Like,
Well,
I'm like
another
loving
thing that I do before, like I read, like I start a new book, I watch a Bible Project video over it.
I like doing that too.
I'm like, okay, now I better understand,
Yeah.
like what I'm going into
Yeah,
instead of just
it's like
being like,
overarching.
well, I have no idea what. This
I haven't done
about.
that this year. I haven't, but I really do like doing that. And I was gonna say my other side thing that I have going on that I started years ago, but I don't have an end goal. I'm just doing it. Is I have this like journal. It's like it was so crisp when I first bought it, and I just started like writing, like literally like copying down, which sounds really boring, but I actually love it. And I'm still in Genesis, but it doesn't matter. I like love it. And I started it before children, and so now like I rarely set aside the time to like sit and write because I guess because maybe that takes a little bit more time and I don't get through as much, you know, at once. But I like doing that, and I do feel like so I like that. So I kind of have that, and then like obviously we always like study on Saturday, you know, and kind of like whatever we're reading, and I also wait till we have like a feast or something, and I like to read up on that, and then I don't know. Prayer lately has been. I've decided not to worry. Like literally, like last week I was like, I'm not gonna worry anymore because it was really eating at me, so I just like stopped. So my prayer has been a lot of like, I'm gonna give this to you and I'm not gonna worry about it. And maybe that's how some people live every day. That is not how I was living.
I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give this to you, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take that part back, and then I'll give the rest. I'm like so bad about that because I'm like,
get that, Kendall.
Yeah, because
So,
I'm a worrier and an overthinker.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, this isn't happening fast enough.
Yeah.
Which is so bad of me because I just gonna be like, take it.
Yeah.
But
I don't know what changed last week. I listened to a podcast. It was really good.
I want that. I want to be like you.
No,
just wanna give it.
you don't want to be like me. I'm trying to be like, I don't know, like Jesus. He's like strolling, hanging with the disciples, but like so bad, like this was just him, you know. And I'm like, I just literally decided not to worry. I have messed up, but I'm just saying, like, I feel so free.
I'm not really a worrier, but my mom is also the most laid back, worry-free person, so that's my example. So.
Yeah.
Well, I told
that's
Micah, and he was like, "What? Like, why are you worrying about that?" Well, and I
That's because Micah doesn't have a worried bone in his body.
I was actually talking to Nana and Papa one night, and it was like before it was before I quit my job, and I was telling them, I was like, but if I don't end up getting another job, and then Micah doesn't get his internship like prolonged, I was like, then we're gonna have no money, and we're gonna have no food. And his Nana was like, whoa, like, why would you think like that? And I was like, that's just like automatically where my brain went. Like, we're gonna just like not.
like
We're gonna live in a cardboard
As
box.
if you would ever be left without a home and food. Like, as if, Kendall.
But then, like, them being like, because my mom is always like, Kendall, like, don't worry about that. Like, that's not really even a possibility. And I'm like, but it is a possibility. You know, like, my mom and Micah are always, like, trying to, like, talk me down. They're like, don't worry about that. And then just having Nana and Papa be like,
You just don't strike me.
why?
This girl.
And I was like, oh, like, I really am, like, overanalyzing. Like, I need to calm down.
That's funny.
But no, like that, like them acting like that, I'm like, oh, thank you, like that helped me.
Because they were
Calm down.
speaking honesty.
Yeah, I was like, okay, yeah.
That's funny.
Bring you back down to reality. I would never, like, you would never strike me as a worrier.
My mind is going like 100 times.
You're so quiet about it.
But
That's
I'm
the
just
worst,
like inside,
too.
I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, and Mike is
Yeah.
like, calm down. Like, he knows, he's like, calm down, like nothing's
feel like-
happening.
Yeah.
Well,
You just, every time I have a worry, I mean, it's a lot, okay? I have a worry, I'm like, oh, wait, everything's gonna be fine. Like, literally, I tell myself, Yahweh literally said everything's gonna be fine. Everything, like, literally, there is no bad outcome because we've been made new. Like, death can't even stop us. Like,
Literally.
no, literally. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm free. Like, I don't even have to worry. So that's my thing lately. It's my thing.
I feel like there's always one person in the relationship that's kind of, because there's things that Laramie worries about that I'm like, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I
Don't
always
worry.
like tell him, I'm like, I wish you could just like be in my mind for a second. He's like, I would not survive.
Mike?
And he was like, I would not
It makes
survive in your
me-
brain. I'm like, exactly, you wouldn't. Like, you have no
You know,
idea.
Did you watch SpongeBob?
Yeah.
You know that episode where he's like in his mind and he's like burning all this stuff? Like this.
That's what it feels like. In my head.
Oh my gosh. Oh, man, that's good.
Anyway,
No, that's really good. Okay, I'm so sorry. To Chloe, how do you reach?
I'm still like kind of figuring out how to do it with a baby. Like I'm still like, I don't
how
know,
to
trying to
read.
figure out like
Yeah.
what works for me.
Yeah, me
Because
too.
before I would like carve out like an hour plus sometimes, like every day.
You are very studious.
And I can't do
Believer.
that now.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, I'm lucky if I get 10
Yeah.
minutes before I go to sleep to read a Psalms or something.
Yeah.
But I also feel like even if I'm just reading a chapter of Psalms, like it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
You know, like that's still taking time
Oh.
out of your day to spend with y'all.
And I
It just
feel like
looks different for me.
I tell myself too, like, maybe I saw it somewhere or something, but like there really are seasons. Not that you shouldn't be attempting to read your Bible every day, but I definitely feel like with children, there's a season of like,
Crazy.
I was gonna say, like a season of, your hands are full. Kendall the other day was like, does that offend you if I say your hands are full? I was like, no. What do you mean? Anyway,
Because
it
some
didn't.
people, it really does. They're like, do not tell me my hands are full. And I've
Yeah.
like heard that on other, like people say like on their podcast, they're like, I just hate it. And when I said that, I'm like, did that offend you?
Yeah, I
I
was
did
like,
not
Kendall,
mean it
I was like, Kendall, my
badly.
hands are full.
Overthinking.
Yeah, I was like, Kendall, literally, my hands. I have 2 children, and there's like, I mean, there's me and Noah, but I'm like, my hands are full. Like, I don't even
Well,
know
we were
what you
talking
mean.
about a situation where it's like just you and like
Yeah.
the kids, and I was like,
Oh, we went to
Yeah. When we went to
Kid or something?
Costco. We went to Costco.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, I'm so sorry, but so I was saying that we're in a season where I feel like our hands are full. So this really is actually there's just as much to learn by parenting your children and seeing that reflected from the word as there is sitting down for an hour plus
Yeah.
and reading. You know, I mean, like we've got to read, but like I do feel like Yahweh teaches you with where you are too. Anyway, I'm sorry, I just had to.
Well, and thankfully I have spent a lot of time reading and studying.
Yeah.
So then as Levi grows up, like it hopefully will remind me of other things
Yeah.
that I've like spent a lot of time on.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily have like a plan, like especially with Laramie being gone for 2 nights
That's
and
hard.
sometimes 3 days because he sleeps when he gets home.
Yeah. Yeah, he does.
Right now I pretty much do what we're gonna read on Saturdays and Psalms because that's what I have time for.
That's awesome. I love it. Oh, dang, I was gonna say something. I don't remember what it was. That's all right.
But I just sit down and read and then jot down things that come to my mind.
Mm-hmm. I've never
Pretty
been
much
that person to like write stuff down.
I love writing.
Only if I'm like, kind of like today we had a prompt, you know, we're going to do Exodus 22. But typically, like, I don't write things down. I do highlight sometimes if something really sticks out to me. And it's interesting because, like, I'll highlight it in my phone, one verse, but like then in my Bible, I'll have highlighted something different at a previous time. So I feel like it just, I mean, it's the living word. It really is alive. So it's different things speak to at different times, you know?
I used to be a really big note taker, like when we were like, I was going to church every Sunday, you know, and like on Wednesday nights and stuff. But so I like going back to those journals.
That's why
I was
do
at
it,
like
yeah.
such a different place in my life. I'm like, why don't we write that? You know? Or like, oh, that was good, you know?
That's what Brooke said last week. She was like, that was not right, you know, about what was going on in her life. I had a Bible, and whenever I still have that Bible, I can't think that it's on my bookshelf, but I bet it's at my mom's house. It was like my teenage Bible, and the stuff I wrote in there, girl, I'm like, burn it. Don't burn it. But I'm like, don't burn the Bible. But I'm like, what on earth? But
Like,
that's
no one
like,
needs to see that.
but like, dude, I was so like, remember I told you I read like Revelation? I don't even know what I wrote down when I was reading that, but anyway, I know what I was gonna say was, okay, I saw this thing. I actually thought it was so good, and I keep meaning to implement it. But it was a mom, and she said that she was like, and this is such a good thing because we talked about, like how, you know, it's not just a feeling, but it's like an action. And it was a mom. It was totally on Instagram. Everything you see on the internet is true. So, but she was like saying she was a mom, and she was finding it really difficult to read her Bible until she put her Bible on a cake plate in the middle of the kitchen, and she kept it open. She never shut it.
I saw that video also.
Really? Oh, I hit the microphone, and I was like, genius. Like, because I was like, if it's always open, she was like, I would just like walk by and be like, oh, and like read a page.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is action. There's fruit from that action. Like, she's literally making the word the center of her home. Like,
Yeah.
literally.
And the kids see it.
And
Yeah,
the kids,
and the
see
kids
it
will be
too.
like, oh, I'm going to read, you know?
Yeah,
I
and I
like
just, even if they
reading-
can't read yet, they still
Yeah.
see mom reading. Because when I'm on my phone, I will say
I was gonna
sometimes
say, I
I'm
like using my Bible because I get distracted. Or somebody will
Yes.
text me
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh.
yeah. I obviously am a poor texter. I get a notification, I don't even see it. Like, it pops up, and I'm like, I don't even. But I like for Shiloh to see me on the Bible because he understands this more than he understands.
yeah.
What's on the phone. So.
When we were in church, people were like, our youth minister was like, don't get on your phone, like, have like the Bible, the actual Bible. And like, ever since I'm like, I don't really read the Bible on my phone. Like, I love just to have like the physical. I just feel like there's something extra to it. And I'm just like, I just love like holding it and like reading it.
Aw,
You know?
I agree with that. But
The
the only
convenience
reason,
is easy to have on the phone. But
the only reason I've made it this far in my Bible plan is because, like, this is so sad. Like, if only I treated my Bible like I treat my phone. I've always got my phone on me. So, like, whenever I sit down to feed Ruth, she's like crying, screaming, make a bottle real quick, sit down on the couch. Like, I whip my phone out, and I'm like, oh. Like, I try and make the first thing that if I open my phone, first thing I do that day, I don't get on Instagram, I don't do anything until I've read my plan.
oh, that's good.
However, I'm like 9 days behind, but I'm catching up. So, and I did get out behind. I don't remember why I got behind. It was the weekend that Winzy's graduation party was.
There's a
And
lot
that was
going
a
on that
crazy
week.
weekend.
I allowed myself. Oh my gosh, that was so good. Micah graduated, Winsy graduated. Yeah, but I kind of allowed myself to get distracted. I kind of got off. But anyway, I will say, I 100% love opening my Bible, but I've given myself some grace. Like, Megan, the word is living, whether it's on your phone or not. But
No,
I
for
focus.
sure.
I focus, and I read more when I have it
Yeah,
in front of me
me
like
too.
this. So yeah. Cool.
Yay.
All right. That's all we got. I forgot to say at the beginning of the episode that we were going to talk about reading Bibles because I forgot we were going to talk about that. But we did. We talked about that too. So, okay, cool. See you next week. My voice is right. Someone else take us out, please. Someone say see you next week.
Bye.
Okay. Okay, bye-bye.